So hello my dear friends, this is a beautiful evening here in Ottawa, Canada. So we are in traffic, a lot of traffic, so I wanted to talk to you about an important subject, and the subject is critical thinking. I have already delivered 2 lectures on critical thinking. So for fundamental details you may listen to those lectures, and now I will focus on some technical aspects of critical thinking. When we say the word critical, so we have a lot of understandings of this concept. For example, we say that somebody is critically ill, or this is a critical situation, and we also say that that person is too critical. So it means that when something is crucial, when something is definite, when something is decisive, so we call it critical. Critical is not ordinary thing. Like critical is not it is something extraordinary. This is not a usual situation. When we talk about something critical, so it means that the situation is not usual. That is something which is distinctive. That is not when we say this thing is critical, so it means that it needs our special attention, our special focus. If we are in our theta or alpha state of minds in the Silva meditation process, for example, mind can be in theta state, it can be in alpha state, it can be in beta state. There are different states of mind which I will explain in my coming lecture for Saturday meditation, that our mind can be in different states. Sometimes, for example, we are in hypnotic stage. We are relaxed and we are like we don't take things like so seriously. So that situation is not critical. And when we say this thing is critical, it means that now our antenna, our mind, it must be quite focused and it must be very, very active. So whenever we try to be critical thinkers, so we should try to focus, concentrate, and our faculties of mind, it must be on alert. This is not a normal situation. When somebody tells you critically examine something or analytically examine something, so it means that the person is asking for your special focus, and this time you have to focus like in an extraordinary way. So try to understand the word critical. When we say thinking, so thinking is not here the word thinking is misnomer. Misnomer means that it is not taken with the usual meaning. Thinking doesn't mean that it is just a thought process in your mind, but that is that you will form judgment. You will like put value on something, that is evaluation. For example, you go to some shop and the shopkeeper puts value, price on a commodity, on an object. So that price differentiate one thing from another thing. Like one thing that may be cheap and the other may be expensive. So why one thing is expensive and the other is cheap? Because of the value. So critical thinking enables you to put value on things. You differentiate that what is the value of this thought, how much it is useful, how much it is beneficial, how much money should I spend on this. Should I spend $100, or I should spend $1,000, or I should spend like $5 or zero? Why should I spend money? Because it doesn't have any value, it is not important for me. So why should I spend money on that? So that is the thinking process, is putting value, or it is drawing your own conclusion or have a judgment. And how you do critical thinking, once you understand a concept or you understand an issue, then you can be a critical thinker. You cannot be critical thinking without understanding. You have to interpret. One of the prerequisite of critical thinking is interpretation, that you must be able to interpret things in a logical way, in an objective way, not subjective way. Subjective way is that I like this thing, I can pay any price for it. But objective way is that if somebody else also says that yes, this is the worth, this is the price, this is the value, and that thing is useful for everybody. Because a critical thinker will always write things or opine, will give opinion in a way which is acceptable to many people. That's why philosophy or science, that is more like the product of critical thinkers. They become like, you analyze things, you divide things into its parts, you focus on each part. This part is called analysis, and then you synthesize, then you collect the parts together, and then the result is synthesis. The result is thesis, that you go from one stage to another stage. So critical thinking, when you want to become like a critical thinker, so you have to focus a lot on your mental faculties, and you have to concentrate. For example, if you are like doing some process, so that process must be in a objective way, not subjective way. You cannot mix your own thoughts and your own likes and dislikes. So when you get a clear picture of some subject or a concept, and that clear picture you share with other people, then it is called critical thinking. Critical thinking doesn't mean that you are just thinking and thinking. You have to draw conclusion, you have to reach to some decision, and then you have to share that decision with others in an objective way. For example, some idea is given to you that critically examine democracy. So when you are critically examining democracy, so the first step is to understand what is democracy. If you don't know what is democracy, so how you will critically examine democracy? So the first step is understanding all the aspects of democracy, and you start from etymological analysis. Etymological analysis means the origin and development of the word. For example, democracy, so democracy. This demo and cracy, what does it mean? Demo means people, cracy means government. So this etymological or linguistic analysis. Now you mean that this is the government of people. You understand the etymological. Then you go and you search its different definitions, and you try to understand that what is the concept of democracy. Now you critically, being a critical thinker, you give different aspects and you put a value on democracy, that how much democracy is important. For example, for a developing country, it may be a controversy that we need a benevolent dictator. We don't need democracy. If there is a benevolent dictator, so that person will take charge of everything, and the person will be putting things in a right way, and then there will be more development. So why should we go for democracy? So do you have answer to such questions? And if you have answer to such questions, then you are a critical thinker. So whenever a question is given to you for critical examination, so you become analytical. You divide the topic into its different parts, try to understand the parts, and then give your own judgment after proper understanding in an objective way. This is called critical thinking. I hope you understood the basic concept of critical thinking.